In my quest to find a delicious, low-bite, low-point, low-cal fudge, I am still working on it, Deanna. I managed to come up with another delicious treat. These are my flourless peanut butter banana fudge brownies. So delicious and only 4 ingredients. Aside from being flourless and gluten-free, these are also dairy and egg-free, and they come together so easily, you'll be surprised. So, if you'd like to see how these are done, stick around because it's coming up next. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Roy. I am a home cook, an amateur baker, and I am here on this channel sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. Now today is one of mine. I was working on a fudge recipe for a subscriber named Deanna who asked for fudge during one of my live streams. And I've been playing around with all sorts of things, so I decided to see if maybe I could bake a fudge. And while this didn't turn into exactly a fudge, it's not exactly a brownie. It's kind of somewhere in between. So I thought this would be a great recipe to share, not only because it's got that fudginess that you may want, but because it's super easy and has only 4 ingredients. You could change it to 3, and I will tell you how, but I am doing it as 4. Although I guess it's 5 if you count the cooking spray, which I don't really count. But this is for my peanut butter banana fudge brownies. It really does come together nicely, has a nice fudgy texture, but let us go over the ingredients. I've already mentioned here my cooking spray. Now I have a 9x5 loaf pan here. You could do it in an 8x4. It'll just be a little denser and you would have to bake it maybe a little bit longer, maybe like 5 minutes or so. But what I'm going to do is spray the pan, and then I have a bit of parchment that I'm going to use to line it so that I can just pull the fudge brownies out once they're done rather than trying to turn them out. This won't be a really firm brownie. It will be a little soft. So that's why I think using a little sling of parchment helps. Or you could line your loaf pan with foil and then just spray the foil itself so that the brownie doesn't stick to it. I have here 2 bananas that are very ripe. You want them very ripe because you want those sugars to have developed in there. And these are about 14 to 15 grams for the 2 of them. You want about 10 grams worth of banana, and I found that using bananas around 14, 15 grams is the perfect spot. Once you take the peel off, you have about 10 grams left. I have here 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, and you can use regular or Dutch process. It doesn't really matter that much. I have here 1/2 cup of powdered peanut butter. I'm using PB2, but PB Fit or any other powdered peanut butter will do. Some may be slightly different in bites or points, so you may have to adjust there. And last but not least, I have here 1/4 cup of sugar-free maple syrup. Now, if you wanted, you could use a regular peanut butter and just eliminate the powdered and the maple syrup. Or you could use one of those lower bite, lower point peanut butters like Better Than Peanut Butter. I really like this combination. And you'll notice there's no flour in this, completely flourless. And PB2 is considered a gluten-free food. So is cocoa powder, although check the label because it will depend on where it's processed. So this is a gluten-free recipe if anyone in your family needs that kind of thing. Just as I said, make sure that the labels do clarify that they are gluten-free. They should be with these products, but it depends on where they are processed. All right, so that's all you really need right there. So let me shuffle a few things around and we're gonna get started. Okay, so I have my bananas in a bowl. I've just broken them up a little bit to make mashing them a little bit easier. Just going to spray my loaf pan with a bit of cooking spray, and then I'm going to take the bit of parchment and just lay that in there. And the cooking spray will help it to stay in place so that it's not shifting around too much. And just press that up against the sides and along the bottom so that it is held in place. And then I'll set that aside and bring in my bananas. And now you're just gonna mash them, and they should mash fairly easily since they are softened. Now I'm just going to do this by hand with a fork. You could of course use an electric mixer for this if you have any issues. Okay, you want it soft and kind of almost like an applesauce type of texture or pumpkin puree. You don't have to worry about mashing every little bit of the banana down. You just want to get it to this texture. Okay, now I'm going to add in the maple syrup. This is to help the peanut butter kind of become more peanut butter-like and also give it a little sweetness. And I'm going to just whisk that in to the banana to get that combined. It won't take long, as you can see. Now I'm going to add in the peanut butter, and I'll whisk that in just a little bit before I add the cocoa powder so I don't have too much of a powdery substance flying around here. And now the cocoa powder. Now I like to move the cocoa gently around here first. Now I'm just going to get that cocoa powder moistened up in here. And then you can see how the whisk is holding on to a lot of it. So I'm going to just tap that off into the bowl. And now switch over to my spatula so I can make sure that all of that cocoa powder gets scraped off the sides. And if you do see any bits of banana that are peeking through, you can just mash down on them with your spatula to get those more incorporated. But that's all there is to it right there. This might be one of the easiest recipes that I have shared here. Then we're going to bring in our loaf pan and just add this right into our lined loaf pan and scrape down the bowl, get all of that goodness out of there and into our pan, get every bit in here. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the spatula and just spread this out into the corners, spread out evenly in the pan, and give it a little shimmy just to kind of even everything out, and that's it. Now this is going into a 350-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes until the top is set and a toothpick inserted is going to come out with a little bit of chocolate on it. But I'll show you what it looks like once it comes out. So there we have it, and you can see that the top is slightly domed and cracked. It's not going to be like firm like a brownie. It's kind of soft like a cake at the moment. And when you take a toothpick and insert it in the middle, and it's going to come out wet with a bit of chocolate, but not like thick clumps of chocolate, just kind of streaks of chocolate. And when you touch it, it's a little tacky, and that's what you're looking for. So now I have to let this sit and cool in the pan for about 5 minutes, because if we tried to take it out now, it would probably fall apart or at least crack a lot more than it will if we let it set. So give me 5 minutes and I'll be back. All right, so it's been cooling for about 5 minutes, and now I'm going to take it out of the pan. I was going to try and be a hero and try to get it off of the parchment, but I want to let it firm up first before I do that. So I'm going to let it cool completely now, but you'll have seen what it looks like in the intro. And I'll put up a picture here so you can get another look of what they look like once they've been cut. All right, I'm not going to cut them now. What I am going to do is give you the nutrition facts. Now, I am doing this as 8 servings as little brownies. You could, if you wanted to make them more like a little fudge treat, you could cut them into much smaller bits. But the way I'm doing it, I'm just going to do it as brownies, and I'm going to serve 8 with this. And if you wanted to really bump things up, you could add some nuts in there before you throw it in the oven. You could put a topping on it. But honestly, I think they are really good just as they are. So for 1/8 of this, it's only going to be 1 Better Balanced Bite or Old Blue Point. I am on the Healthy Better Balanced plan, which is equivalent to the old WW Blue plan, which is approximately where their new plan is now. Now, if you're following calories, the calories for 1/8 would be 80. And if you are following macros, the fat would be 1.8 grams. The carbs would be 14.5 grams. The fiber would be 4.5 grams. And the protein would be 5.5 grams as I made it here. Now this, as I said, is gluten-free, but it's also egg and dairy-free. And if you wanted, if you had someone with a peanut allergy, you could switch the powdered peanut butter for powdered almond butter. So you can play around with it a little bit to fit whatever dietary needs you have. Now you can store these at room temperature. I put them in a baggie and put them at room temperature, but I really do like the texture after it's been refrigerated a little bit. So either way, you can store them how you like. They will last a little bit longer in the fridge, but you do you. But I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy recipe. And if you did, I would appreciate you doing the usual: like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video. We do have a collab coming up on May 21st for brunch items, so hit that notification bell. Now, if you would like to support my channel and help me to keep coming up with recipes like this one, I would really appreciate it. In the description box, there's a link to a website called Buy Me a Coffee, and there you can contribute to the channel if you are able to do so. Also down there, you're going to find the recipe for this. I will link directly to this below in the description box, as well as to the blog itself, to my Amazon storefront, my Built Bar rewards, Stretch rewards, Skinny Syrups code, and my social media. I have my Instagram and now 3 Facebook groups that I'm part of. So go check out the description box for all sorts of information. So I'm going to bide my time and let this cool down to room temperature before cutting in. But I can't wait to enjoy a piece later. And I hope that you'll be doing the same yourself very soon. So until next time, bye.